Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Rose here, and in today's video I'm going to talk to you about my 75 hard challenge journey, everything that went on, the pros and cons, and everything you need to know about the challenge. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm literally sat outside my house for a change of scenery, to be honest, and just to connect with nature, because who doesn't love a good bit of nature? Anyways, so as basically all of you know, I've completed the 75 hard challenge. So I completed it 12 days ago. And yeah, I just had some time off to just find myself again and actually find the joy in life again, because it was a really dark time for me when I was doing the challenge. I really struggled a lot with my mental health. If you don't know, the 75 hard challenge is where you have to drink 1 gallon of water a day, you've got to read 10 pages a day, take progress pictures, follow a diet, you've got to do 2 45-minute workouts, 1 outside. There's no cheat meals, no cheat days, no rest days, no nothing like that. It's all continuous, you get no breaks. You can have no alcohol as well, but I don't drink alcohol anyway, so that was fine. Those are the challenges you had to follow every day for 75 days. It was 10.5 weeks. And it was really fucking challenging. The misconception about the challenge is that it's a weight loss challenge, when it's really not. It's actually the complete opposite. It's a mental toughness challenge that is all about your brain, it's all about your mind. And because the challenge rules are you've got to do everything every day for 75 days, you get no rest. That really takes a toll on your mental health and your brain, because you don't have anything to look forward to, you don't have anything to work towards. It's just constant, the same thing over and over again until the challenge is finished. So of course you're going to lose weight when you're doing it. I lost just under 2 stone. I lost 1 stone at 7 pounds, which was absolutely incredible. So amazing. I was so proud of myself. But that's not what the challenge was made for. It was made for you to get up every single day, go outside, work out, no matter if it was snowing, if it was raining, if it was cold. You still had to get up every single day and go outside and do your 45-minute workout, because if you didn't do that, you failed the challenge and you had to start from the very beginning, from day 1. My diet, I chose to do a calorie deficit. Usually you have 1 cheat meal or cheat day a week, but obviously I did not have that for 10.5 weeks. So that was really mentally challenging, because I had to keep up with my diet. I ate 1,500 calories every single day. I didn't really have any chocolate at all. I had no processed sugar, no refined sugar, no refined carbs. Everything was just whole, nutritious, healthy foods that were pure. I made sure I looked at all the ingredients labels. I didn't put any xanthan gum, emulsifiers, anything like that in my body. It was all completely healthy, completely pure. And to be honest, I was the healthiest I've ever been in my entire life. You know, my skin was glowing, I had literally no body fat, I could walk up hills without getting out of breath, I could do my workouts and I was absolutely fine. My exercise classes started getting really easy, all my clothes started fitting really loosely, and it was really fucking great. But something like that is not sustainable, it's not maintainable, and I think it really sets you up for bad eating habits and bad mental health, and that is something that I have faced the consequences of. At the beginning it was really great, you know, I had so much energy, I was feeling amazing, I was getting up, I was excited to go to the gym, I was looking forward to my workouts, you know, I loved eating healthy food because it made me feel good. I loved eating clean foods, knowing I was doing the best for my body. And over time, from those first few weeks, I didn't miss sugar at all. I didn't want to eat it, I wasn't bothered about it. You know, I had loads of energy, I wasn't tired at all, and that was absolutely great. That was like the honeymoon phase of it all. I think it was about like 4 or 5 weeks. It was really good, and then it just plateaued down, straight down, and that is when it was the hardest for me. I was drinking a gallon of water a day, and to be honest, that's a negative about it. You need a wee all the time. You are constantly needing to go to the toilet. You know, when I was out, I was literally constantly needing to go to the toilet. I needed a wee. I remember it was about twice when I was getting my nails done and they hadn't even finished setting, and I just physically had to go to the loo because I could not hold it. It was like that point where you were getting like hot flushes because I couldn't hold my wee in. That's a really negative about the challenge, but over time my body got used to it, but at the start that was really difficult. Some positives about the challenge were that it showed me you can still work out even when you're really tired. So because I had no rest days, which is vital when you're weightlifting and training for your body to recover and build up your muscles and everything. So when I needed those rest days and when I really wanted to have them, I still went up and I still did my 2 45-minute workouts. I still did it, I still got it done, and that showed me a lot about myself. It showed me that I am stronger than my mind to start with. It showed me that my body is capable of so much more than I could ever imagine. You know, you've just got to stop listening to all the thoughts and all the excuses of why you can't work out, why you can't do this, why you can't do that, and you've just got to overcome it and just go and get it done, because 9 times out of 10 you always feel better once you've done your workout. And that was so true. I always felt better because I'd gotten up, I did both my workouts in the morning. On the days I didn't do exercise classes, I felt amazing. I got it all done, and then I had the rest of the day to relax. That's a good tip, get the workouts done in the morning. I had so many points in my challenge where I was crying, I wanted to give up, I was feeling so low and demotivated. I was like, I cannot carry on, I'm not going to be able to make it through. You know, I just, you know, I would like lie in bed physically so tired, I couldn't get out of bed, I was so exhausted, but I still got up, I still did it. And yeah, here I am, completed the challenge. I found out so much about me, how strong I am, how disciplined you can be, and there's always more you can be doing. I read so many books. Of course you had to read 10 pages a day, so that meant that I read 1,500 pages in total. I read more because sometimes I'd read 20 pages, sometimes I'd read 40. It was just kind of how I was feeling that day. The book has got to be a self-improvement book that's like non-fiction, but I just read fiction books, so that was the kind of alter that I did. Anyway, I freaking loved it. I absolutely loved it because I like reading anyway, but sometimes I cannot motivate myself to read a book and just sit down and actually read it. So because I had to do it, I literally really enjoyed it. I always did it before bedtime and it really just relaxed my mind. It really helped me get a good night's sleep. You know, I felt really great. I read 3 books, which was amazing because I'd usually only be getting around 1 book every 2-3 months. Another thing that I found was I really got to see who was there for me and who genuinely was happy for me and my progress, and who was just watching and judging from the sidelines. To be honest, I feel like that's a good thing because it makes you know who are your real friends and stuff like that, because you know you've got so many fake friends that are around you and live around you. Since losing all the weight, I have gotten so many questions asking, how did I do it, how have you done this, you look amazing, all stuff like that. But did I get any of that when I was going through it? I got absolutely nothing. I went through that whole journey by myself. I did everything by myself. I got myself up on the days I didn't want to do it, I got my workouts done, I motivated myself to eat clean. You know, I did everything by my own will, and a lot of people go through the challenge with others, but I did it all self-inflicted, and I didn't really have anyone supporting me during it. I had about two people, if that, and I feel like it was like a self-improving journey when I really got to connect with myself and find out a lot about me and get to know myself really, because I was doing it all alone. Anyway, so when everybody was asking me how I did it and all stuff like that, and talking to me now I was skinny, I was just like, fuck off. Like, you had absolute no care in the world when I was going through it. You did not give two shits, mate. You didn't care to congratulate me, you know, give me any support. It was only when I'd finished and when I was at a normal weight that people actually wanted to talk to me. You know, the amount of guys that added me on Snapchat after I'd, you know, become skinny and got a nice figure was absolutely mental. It was disgusting to see how many guys were interested in me when I was at the weight I am now than when I was last year. And that really shows, like, I feel like it's really important to have people who like you for you. So it's important to remember, for me to remember who the people were that liked me when I was at a heavier weight than I was, and who never judged me, you know, wasn't bothered about how my body looked compared to the people now, because there is a really, really big difference between them all. So yeah, that was one thing, finding out who was genuinely happy for me and who really did support me through it all. I felt so fit and healthy and strong, you know, as I was saying earlier, I could walk up hills without getting out of breath, something I didn't be able to used to do. I could go to all my exercise classes and I would find them actually really easy compared to when I first started. I built loads of new hobbies, I found loads of new hobbies. I joined boxing, dance, yoga, Pilates. I did all sorts, mate. I was at an exercise class every single night. My only days off were Thursday. And that was really good because it got me out of the house. I found loads of new friends. I made loads of new friends. You know, at the start I really looked forward to going to them, and it was really, really, really fun, for something to look forward to. And so that was a really, really nice aspect, being so proud of how fit and healthy and strong I was. You know, you could see it from the outside and the inside was reflecting out. Skin is a main one. That really shows you how healthy your body and your gut is. I didn't have any bloating, I had frequent bowel movements, and my hair was really healthy. Everything still is, but it was even more healthier when I was doing the challenge. So those are the positives about the challenge. They were really good, you know. I was getting all my vitamins, I was getting all my nutrients, my body was really healthy, I'd become really disciplined, I was really, really good at being in social situations and not wanting to eat all the food there. That was something I really struggled with at the start. I learned how to be happy with the food that was on my plate instead of always wanting more. That was a main thing for me that I found I got out of the challenge. Tracking all my meals and making sure I hit everything on the 1,500 mark. I was in a deficit of about 1,000 calories every day, if not more, because sometimes I was burning 2,800 calories. The weight was just dropping off me, mate. And to be honest, I don't even know if it was in a healthy way, because I really don't think it was. Yeah, another thing was my heart rate. So my heart rate used to be, my resting beats per minute used to be about 87, and they went down to 45 beats per minute, which is amazing. It's so good that, because your heart rate is so important, because, you know, if it's too high it leads to all sorts of issues. You just want it to be around the 50 beats per minute mark. So I was really happy with that, because again, I could see it was not only working from the outside, but my insides were, you know, becoming really healthy as well. So yeah, those are all the positives I've got to say. I'm now going to move on to the negatives. So there's a lot of negatives, but I'm just going to try link them all into like a few points, because they're all kind of stem from the same thing. So I developed a really, really unhealthy relationship with food from the challenge. I really struggled with my mental health, and I'm still suffering with that now. Really, really affected me in negative ways like that. Something I wish I knew before I started, because they were all problems that could have been avoided, but I just didn't realise how much it was going to affect me mentally. So I really, really struggle with my mental health a lot. Some of you know, I posted about it on my channel a while ago, that I got discharged from CAMS when I was in year 9, about 3-4 years ago now. and I hadn't had a suicidal thought since. You know, I was feeling great, hadn't been depressed, hadn't had thoughts of binge eating, anything like that. And then towards the end of my challenge is when I had my first suicidal thought in 3-4 years, and that's when I knew it was really bad. I was really struggling with thoughts of food, you know, wanting to eat everything because I was restricting so much. All the thoughts of anorexia, I used to struggle with anorexia in year 7. All those thoughts started to come back, because it was all really like tracking everything I ate, working out too much, not eating enough food. My body was tired, it needed a rest, I wasn't listening, you know, I was still working out. And then you don't even realise until you get so deep into it how much that affects you and your thoughts and how you talk to yourself. And I'm really dealing with all those consequences right now, and I think I might do that in another video because it's a lot to unpack. So yeah, mental health was a really big issue, and I really don't recommend doing the challenge if you have had any previous mental health issues, even if you think you've been recovered from them, because I did, but they all came rushing back, and that was one of the loneliest places to be in. It really was, and I wish I never felt like that again, but I did. Because I was so tired and, you know, mentally drained from the whole over exercising, under eating, not having rest days, not being able to eat the food I wanted, you know, be stuck in a continuous cycle that got really boring and it got really repetitive. I became really moody, and I was really rude to my family, and I feel awful about it. It was really bad. Some days it would be really bad and I felt like an absolute bitch, but I couldn't do anything about it. I genuinely couldn't get myself to stop being moody and rude, even though I knew everything I was doing and saying was really wrong. I just couldn't stop, because how sad I was feeling on the inside was now reflecting on the outside, and I couldn't do anything to stop it because I didn't have any energy to pretend to be happy. And I pushed a lot of people away because of that, and I feel absolutely awful. You know, it's one of those things that you do in the moment and then it's just, you ruined it for the rest of your life. You know, I'd come downstairs for dinner and I couldn't even look anybody in the eye. I just stared at my plate thinking, I don't even want to fucking eat this food. You know, it got to the point where I didn't eat much at all. I stopped being hungry because my body was like, well, you're not going to feed me, so there's no point me saying I'm hungry because you're not going to listen. So I just look at it and just didn't really want to eat it. And then if something went wrong with the food, because I'd waited all day to eat food, if something went wrong with it, that would put me in an awful mood, and then it all just spiraled down from there. It was pretty fucking rough. And then that links on to the fact I didn't see my friends in 4 months. In 4 months I didn't see any of my friends because I had no mental energy to psych myself up, to get excited, to be happy, to talk to people, to socialise, you know, to go out and do all the fun activities I used to want to do. I didn't have any energy to meet any of my friends, text them. You know, I kind of just isolated myself from everyone and everything. Yeah, I really isolated myself and I missed out on a lot of things, a lot of social gatherings. You know, there'd be many times my friends would ask if I'd want to come out and I just would say, I'm really sorry, I can't. I just don't have the energy. Sometimes I felt like I was a dead corpse living in someone's body. You know, I'd come downstairs, my eyes would be sunken in, my face would just hang, it would be like skin and bone. I had the darkest circles under my eyes. I'd just be walking around the house feeling like I'm not actually living. I just felt like a zombie because I was that run down. You know, you don't even realise how much it affects you. You really don't realise, you know, and I feel like some of you might be watching this now being like, oh my god, it really couldn't have been that bad. But if you haven't done it and if you haven't gone through everything I went through, you have absolutely no idea and no place to judge me. If you are, so please don't, because I feel like you've just got to go through these things to realise how you know, fucking hard they actually are. So yeah, that was one of a good bad negatives. And there was a feeling I got that I hadn't gotten since I was in year 7, when I was literally 11 years old. It would be a feeling where when I was really depressed, it felt like there was this big black hole in my stomach, and like a slug was like eating out all my happiness. And I hadn't felt that feeling since I was 11, and I'm now 16, so that's 5 years. And it came back in the last few weeks, and I cannot tell you how awful that was. It's just basically the feeling you get when you're depressed. That's exactly how it felt. And I just remember I'd just be sitting in my bed, I'd be walking around, and I'd just have this black empty hole in my stomach, and it felt like it was eating all my happiness. And I was just so sad. I was so sad. And it's just, nobody should have to go through that. Nobody. It's not worth having a skinny waist. It really isn't. Your happiness is so much more important than being skinny. Trust me, it's really not worth it. And then it was like every inconvenience I'd have, if my tea went wrong, you know, if I'd have an argument with someone, it would just get worse and worse and worse. And that's when the thoughts of suicide came back, because I was like, I genuinely cannot live like this. You know, I think it was like when I had 2 weeks left of my challenge, and I was like, I cannot do it. I physically cannot carry on like how I am. You know, I felt like I was trapped and like I had no escape, because I had to finish the 2 weeks left, otherwise it would all have been for nothing. And that's when I just felt like that was the only option. And that's just so sad. You know, nobody should make you feel like that. No fucking challenge is worth that much, mate. So yeah, I felt like I had to earn my food, which all stems back to anorexia. Everything, that all the thoughts I used to have, they all came back. And I'm still dealing with that now, you know, it's not gone away. And it was all like I had to earn my food, you know, I had to work out, I had to make sure it was this amount of calories, I had to plan all my meals. And it wasn't affecting just my fitness life, it was affecting my whole life, because I became obsessed with planning everything. I became obsessed with finding out. I had to know everything that was going on. You know, I had to put the food shopping away, I had to put shopping away, I had to be in control of all the food all the time. And that's really fucking mentally draining. My whole life was revolved around food, and I hate that. A really big point is probably one of the biggest negatives, is so I missed out on so many family dinners, so many meals out. I went away on holiday like a couple of months ago now, and they went out and they'd eat out, you know, quite a few nights, and I couldn't fucking join in with it. I had to just sit there and watch everybody eat the food, whilst I either had something that was already tracked and planned and prepped out, or I just ate nothing. And I just had to sit there and watch everybody eat food, and that was torture. That, oh god, that was the worst feeling ever. Nobody ever should have to go through that. And then, you know, we'd have friends over here, and my dad, he loves food, like, you know, he's really like passionate about it, so he'd always do the most amazing spreads. He'd make homemade sausage rolls, you know, we'd do all stuff like that. And I couldn't join in with anything. Once again, I had to sit there and watch everybody eat everything whilst I battled with my own thoughts, you know. It was so lonely and just upsetting, you know, because I really did miss out on a lot. You know, we had quite a few parties as well with all the spreads and everything, and I couldn't fucking join in with anything. I couldn't eat any of the food, I couldn't eat any of the cakes, the cupcakes, the biscuits, the sandwich platters, the sushi. I couldn't have any of it. I just had to either not eat anything or have my pre-planned. Obviously Easter literally just passed a few weeks ago, and I missed out on the Easter dinner. Well, any kind of Sunday roast I absolutely adore. I love Sunday roasts, and it was so hard. I'm gonna insert a clip of the night before when I was really struggling. Hi guys, so it's Easter tomorrow, and I really do not know how I'm gonna cope. I am stressing the fuck out because I physically cannot sit next to somebody who is eating food that I can't eat. I get stressed out. I just can't do it. I was fine at the start of my challenge, and now I physically cannot do it, and I've got to sit on a table with loads of people eating my favourite food. They're having a roast dinner and having these really nice roast potatoes, cauliflower cheese with bacon, and I made a dessert. I made an almond tart, and I don't even fucking like almond tart, mate, but I just want to eat it. I just want to eat it. I just want to eat all the food, and I get so jealous of people that can just sit there and eat whatever they want, and I can't, and it's fucking awful. And I hate how jealous I am. I hate what kind of person I'm becoming. I hate how I'm a jealous person who, you know, gets jealous of people eating food to fucking survive, because I can't. I can't share my food anymore. I'm becoming a horrible person because of this challenge, and I hate it. I hate the kind of person I'm becoming. I don't like looking at myself. I don't like listening to myself talk. I don't like how I am. I don't like how I act. I don't like any of it, and I hate that this challenge has done that to me, because that is such an awful thing for anybody to feel, and I used to struggle with it a lot in year 7 and, you know, when I was younger, and I finally got over it, and now it's like it's all coming back, and I, honest to God, just don't know what I'm gonna do. I just do not know what I'm gonna do tomorrow, being surrounded by all of these Easter eggs that I cannot fucking eat. Like, I'm just freaking fuming because I cannot eat any of them, and I have to watch people fucking eat these stupid Easter eggs, mate. Like, it sounds so stupid and silly, and you're just like, why the hell are you getting so upset over a fucking Easter egg? But it's such a big deal to me. It's such a big deal to me. Like, I just can't do it. I just want to sit in my room all night. I don't know how I'm gonna go downstairs and sit there and watch everybody eat food and Easter egg and chocolate and dessert, and I can't join in with any of it. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I don't know if that could show you any better, really, how much the food was affecting me and scaring me, and how I was really worried and stressed out about the whole social situation. You know, how am I going to cope with the food? What am I going to do? And that is just not right. It's not right. Once again, anorexia, hello. Like, everything that I'm talking about now screams anorexia. It's, you know, all the thoughts. Obviously, I didn't have anorexia, and I don't have it, but they are all thoughts and feelings and emotions you get when you're struggling with something like that. And it's really scary and lonely. It's a really scary and lonely place to be in, and I just constantly felt so isolated. And, you know, I didn't want to go out because I was worried that I'd have to get involved with food. I got really jealous. That was a really horrible trait I picked up, was jealousy. I got so jealous of people being able to eat food and, you know, just be able to eat it and not have any guilt, not have to track it, not have any of the worry of doing any of that, and you could just be a normal person and just eat normal food. And I'd get so jealous, and it was horrible. It was like, ugh, jealousy is the worst trait anybody could have, and I really had it. You know, I'd just watch people eat and I'd be like, oh, feelings of anger and hatred would just run through my body, and I'd just be like, I'm not this person. Why am I feeling these emotions? This isn't me. This isn't how I was brought up to be. It was horrible. And it was like, when we went away on holiday, I couldn't really take part in any of the activities because I had no energy to do it. I had no energy. I had to wake up every morning at 8 AM. I went to the gym, I did my 2 45-minute workouts, and then I came back, had all my supplements, my protein shake, breakfast, and then I'd be fucking exhausted because the gym took it all out of me, and that was really the only energy I had, and it was all gone in literally an hour. So yeah, I missed out on stuff like that. And you know, when it was that holiday, I couldn't really be happy, I couldn't really be excited about anything, and I was just, you know, I'd go to bed at like 9 PM. Mate, I don't fucking go to bed at 9 PM. I go to bed at about 12 PM, 12 AM, if not later. I missed out on all the hot tub sessions in the evening because I'd just be so tired, I'd have to go to sleep. You know, I'd be moody, I didn't really want to socialise with anybody. And I was away with a lot of people. I was away with about 12 people, so you can see how that didn't really work out. All the roller coasters we went on, I didn't want to go on any of them, so I just really sat out. I only went on 3. It was at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I went on 3 and I just sat out for the rest of them because I didn't want to go on them. I didn't have the energy to fucking scream, mate. I was that tired. You know, looking back on it, I really did miss out on a lot of stuff. I really, really did. And I don't even think it was worth it. I really don't think it was worth it. Basically, that's everything. Like, just constantly being obsessed with food. I couldn't sleep, I was so hungry, my tummy would be rumbling. I'd dream about food, I'd dream about me binging, I'd dream about all sorts of crappy stuff, and I'd just constantly be hungry. And you know, the last week my stomach had shrunk so much, I could eat, I'll put a picture on the screen, I could eat one tiny burger and that was it, and I didn't have to have any side, I didn't have to have a dessert. I could be full and satisfied with just that tiny little burger. That was how much food I was used to eating. So I had breakfast at 1 PM, lunch at 4 PM and dinner at 7:30. Oh no, if it was my classes it would be 8ish, but if I didn't have a class it would be about 6:30. And I had a structured meal plan every time I'd eat, so my body would get used to knowing when it was allowed to eat. And it's just so triggering that I'm still struggling with all the effects now. You know, like I said, I will do another video on it, but you know, it really does stick with you. I'm just so lucky that I did the challenge not being at school or college and not doing it with a job, because fucking hats off to people who do it with a job or if they're in school, because I physically couldn't. So good on you guys. I struggled the most when it got to the last 3 weeks. I really struggled. That's when everything went downhill, and that's when it felt like the challenge was going really slow. I think it was my dad who came up with the idea to make a calendar and cross off every single day. It was so sweet. He'd put like little messages and quotes being like, go on Rose, you're doing amazing, you've got a few days left, few weeks left now. That was really sweet, and that really helped motivate me. But yeah, the last 3 weeks was when everything kind of went downhill, when my energy was at an all-time low. I had to cancel quite a lot of my exercise classes because I couldn't do it. I honestly couldn't do it. I couldn't even get out of bed, mate. It was so draining. And everybody could just see that I was just so exhausted. They were all like, Rose, are you alright? I was like, yeah mate, I'm just going through it. And like, people at my yoga classes will be like, are you okay? Like, you seem really down. And when people at your yoga classes are noticing that you're not alright, that's when you know something's not alright. Everything about my life was just so fucked up. Like, it really was. And I really do not recommend this challenge to anybody for those reasons. You know, unless you are really sure that you want to go through that, then don't do it. Then don't do it. I don't recommend. If I could get those 10.5 weeks back, I'd do anything. Really would. I feel like because it was getting so close, I couldn't grasp that it was actually ending. And then I remember it was the last day and I just couldn't grasp that I was actually able to eat all this food that I was like planning to eat the next day, and it just felt so weird to me that I was actually allowed to do it all. And then when Saturday came around, when I had my cheat weekend, it lasted for 2 weeks, I was literally physically shaking because I was so overwhelmed that I was allowed to eat sugar and actually eat stuff without tracking it, and being able to acknowledge my hunger and say, my body's hungry right now, I'm going to eat some food. That felt so weird for me to do. And the one moment that I remember the most is my dad had some Balti mix out on the table. They're just like this Indian snack, and usually I would not be allowed to eat it. I usually would just have to walk past it, but I was like, oh my god, I can have some of this, like, can I have some? And then I was like, yeah, go on. I was like, oh my god, this feels so weird right now. It was like I was filming everything. I was like filming myself drinking lemonade, because the whole challenge I only drank water. I didn't drink hot chocolate, I didn't drink tea, I didn't drink anything. It was all just water. So when I had my first sip of lemonade, because god damn, I missed that. I missed that so much. I didn't even realise how much I missed it until I realised I'd only been drinking water for the full 10.5 weeks, and I was like, oh my god, I miss lemonade. Anyway, so I had it and I was like, oh my god, this is beautiful. It was so good. I was filming everything. I was filming me eating chocolate for the first time. I was filming me eating my first donut, a slice of cake. Oh, it was mega. It was so nice. And I talked a bit about it in my other video, but the pancakes I made were insane. There was about 15 pancakes layered with milk chocolate, white chocolate sauce, Kinder bars, chocolate, and I literally managed to eat about 2, and then I felt so physically sick and full that when I stood up I was about to throw up. I had to have like 10 minutes to just breathe, digest everything, and like I feel like I was really overwhelmed with actually being able to eat all the food, and it felt really wrong and really weird to not go to the gym and not have a set meal plan when I'd eat. And I was reading some people's stories and they said they were working out on the 76th day. I was like, bro, what the hell? Like, no. You could not catch me doing that. So yeah, that's kind of like my journey really. That's everything that I went through, you know, all my ups and downs. Overall, I was really happy with the results. I was really happy with how healthy my body was, and everything about, you know, the results I got from it, you know, the discipline, the weight loss, the health I got, my whole body being so healthy. There was real pros, but the cons really outweighed the pros, and it's not worth getting a skinny waist. Trust me, it's not. Your happiness is so much more important, and it just stems to, you know, mental health issues and bad healthy eating habits, all stuff like that, and trust me, it's not worth it in the long run. Overall, I would never fucking do it again. I do not recommend anybody doing it. There's so much healthier and kinder options out there. You know, if weight loss is your goal, do a calorie deficit. You know, if you're wanting to get mental discipline, write your own rules. You know, you don't need to follow such a strict plan, because when I did it, I had no idea what I was getting into, and I wish I had a video like this to tell me everything I needed to know before doing it. So I hope that this has helped you guys. I am going to be doing another video on all the after effects and how it's really fucking affected me mentally and what I'm going through right now, because that is something I really want to talk about, because I am very open. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful, and thank you so much for 3,000 subscribers. I love you all so much, and I will see you in the next upload. Bye.